Welcome back to the show. Check out these headlines we have here. XRP and crypto market cap potential. Oh, you're going to enjoy that information. XRP ETFs take $1 billion off the market by end of the year. We'll look at how that could be possible. And the SEC chairman, Paul Atkins, on tokenization says this is the way the world would be and not in 10 years. And he gives a timeline. You're going to want every single bit of that and so much more. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and DigPerspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, $3.22 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is off 0.2%. Bitcoin 92,000 plus, Ethereum 3,100 plus, XRP number 4 spot $2.13. Now we're off 2.3 on the 24 and 2.5 on the 7-day. We'll keep an eye on it, ranging between 215 and 222. You can see where we're at right now. We'll keep an eye on it. I'm going to remind you right now, it's XRP Las Vegas, ladies and gentlemen. Bank XRP will be coming. He's an OG, baby. I'll be in Las Vegas for the conference. Go to xrplasvegas.com, get your tickets. He says, I've attended the last 3 events and each one has advanced in scale and quality. I'm looking forward to meeting new faces and reconnecting with longtime community members. A great Christmas gift for anyone in the space. Tickets are moving quickly, and he's absolutely right. Shout out to Bank. It's the one time a year I get to see him, and it's always a pleasure to do it, no doubt about it. And I can't wait to see each and every one of you there. And there is a surprise coming for this conference and the look to it that you have never seen. Just you wait. Just you wait, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's take a look at this. Caleb and Brown, stop putting your assets at risk. Just get the comfort and security you need. Go to xrpwealth589.com and open your free account that we've got lined up for you to do so between DAI and myself. Or just click the link underneath the video, xrpwealth589.com. Start getting the best night's sleep since you've been in crypto. And then reach out to YO Trust Attorney. The link is underneath the description, and you can start getting your LLC for your assets. You want a holding company for your assets to protect you? Get the LLC. He can do it. You can reach out. All you got to do is go up here and book, or you can get their trust, which, by the way, they have many different kinds of trust. I just bought a charitable remainder trust. It is very inexpensive for the LLC and for the trust. And you are getting some great products, ladies and gentlemen. And in the description, when you filled out this book, your consultation, just do us a favor and put Digital Perspectives or Dig Perspectives and how we can help you right there. Let them know we sent you. We want them to know we sent you. This is a remarkable opportunity. This is an incredible company. They're wonderful. There's no reason you should be paying an exorbitant amount of money for a trust for your family or an LLC. It's nonsense to pay crazy fees for that. And now you don't have to. We've got it set up for you. So click the link below and get started and protect what you've worked so hard to build for you and your family. Larry Fink just admitted he was wrong about Bitcoin. Oh, let's take a listen to this clip here.
Called crypto an index for money laundering. BlackRock
and thieves.
And thieves.
Yes.
Money laundering and thieves.
Right.
You now have the biggest Bitcoin ETF. So what happened here?
I have very strong views, but that doesn't mean I'm not wrong. By having strong views, you have to test yourself and ask yourself. And, in my role, I see, thousands of clients a year. I have, governmental leaders, and we have these conversations, and my thought process always evolves. And this is a very glaring public example of a big shift, in my opinion.
Called crypto an index for money laundering. BlackRock
and thieves.
And thieves.
Yes.
Money laundering and thieves.
Right.
You now have the biggest Bitcoin ETF.
Sorry about that. I couldn't get my mouse to react. I'm sitting here swiping the thing and I can't get it to stop. So anyway, you see it right there. That is BlackRock CEO Larry Fink eating his words. And you know what? Revealing that he'd been talking his book the entire time causing the market to be suppressed because they wouldn't say it was a good asset. And now we know this now.
But I can tell you there are a number of sovereign funds that are standing by. They're adding incrementally at 120, at 100. I know they bought more in the 80s. Right. That's fine. And they're establishing a longer position. And you own it over years. This is not a trade. You own it for a purpose. But I can tell you.
There you have it. And, you know, when you think about this, you know, the people talking their book and all of this kind of stuff, to me, it just makes sense. And when I see this looks a lot like the writing on the wall to me. This is why I have some Bitcoin, regardless of how I feel about it. And I'm not trying to sell anybody anything. I'm just telling you, you know, when I see big people like this, big players like this endorsing things and getting behind them and taking real positions in them for them and their clients and customers, well, that's all the cover I need. If that changes, then I will too. I also understand that, you know, I don't want to get too deep into it. I talk about it quite often in the private group, but nonetheless, that's where we're at. The big boys are here to play. And meanwhile, XRP Ledger is experiencing a peak on-chain usage as result of increased market activity. This has led to the velocity metric hitting a yearly high of 0.0324, as noted by CryptoQuant, a leading on-chain analytics platform. And this is what that looks like from Quant. Per CryptoQuant, the massive surge in XRP velocity signals rising liquidity and heavy trader or whale movement. And this is interesting because we know we're here on the cusp of getting that market infrastructure bill. So who is it? You know, remember, it was just a few days ago, Vet showed us that there were some account transactions happening and spiking on the ledger, and that this time it looked much different than the bot spike from BitGo, that this looked more formidable and that something could really be significant behind it. So take a listen to this very quickly.
Ripplexity quick news update. XRPL just recorded 40,000 account setups, a strong proxy for active wallet configuration and ecosystem onboarding. AMM pools show rising liquidity rotations, clear signs of a network scaling in both participation and utility.
So there you have it. We're going to, you know, I can't wait to see, you know, and it's fun tracking these ETFs, right? And seeing the amount of money. We know we're very close to crossing $1 billion. We could cross the total amount in money of XRP ETFs over $1 billion today. That is possible, highly likely, actually, right? And over 425 million plus XRP locked up because of it at the moment. So looking at that, Chad Steingraber goes into this and says, you know, we have 22 days left in the year. Average ranges for remaining accumulation, 10 million XRP per day, 220 million XRP. That's where your numbers range, right? So then 20 million XRP per day leads to 440 million by the end of the year, right? 30 million per day, 660 million XRP taken off the market for ETFs, depending on the rate that it is accumulated, right? But I love that he broke this down. We did something very similar just the other day, but I love doing this. But we have to remember and this is not to crack on Chad, because Chad's doing a great job. And it is to point out that this is just him talking about what we have left with what's currently doing business. You know, we have multiple other ETFs that are going to roll out as well, which just amplify the possibilities of these numbers. And then we also have this guy, Hugo Filion from Flare, who has projected that he wants to see 5 billion XRP on the platform by the middle of 2026, so in another 7 months.
I think, you know, the total addressable market for XRP staking is the total value of XRP. I don't see a reason why you wouldn't want to stake, you know, all the XRP in existence. There's no reason not to get yield on it. That said, you know, I think a reasonable expectation is what I said before, which is, you know, I genuinely think we could get to 5 billion by the middle of 2026 with a good tailwind, of course. For instance, we are working with Zaman, which is one of the major wallets on the XRP ledger, to create a smart account that enables you to stake directly from XRP Ledger into Firelight on Flare without you having to touch the bridge. You don't have to interact with the bridge. You can just stake directly through what we call a smart account through Zaman, and that's in progress. And Zaman has, as I understand it, roughly 4 billion XRP. So, that's about $12 billion, just that. And I think, there's no reason that we wouldn't be able to pick up a reasonable amount of the assets that are used in Zaman. The appetite is very, very high because everyone out there wants to hold on to their XRP holders. You're talking about multiple billions sitting at exchanges. They do not want to lose that business. And so they want to work with people that help them retain those users of that exchange. I think
no question about it. And shout out to Paul Barron and Hugo Filion. I'll be sitting down with Paul Barron today for an interview myself. I'm looking forward to that conversation. But again, adding in just how quickly these things can be taken off the market, just averaging the 5 ETFs, we haven't even considered the Flare networks of the world, or the Axelars or Midas or everybody else that's offering the chance to earn yield out here. These are other factors that are going to have a positive upward force on the pressure of XRP at some point. And then here, Evernorth, the world's largest XRP treasury for institutional use. We can't forget about them too. They want to go public in Q1 of 2026. Now, I just picked up some of it on the SPAC on Fidelity. How much are they going to end up having in their treasury? Because all of that's outside of the ETFs. It's outside of Flare networks and the other yield models and DeFi platforms. Think of it. And we still don't have the market infrastructure bill just yet. But let's hear SEC Chair Paul Atkins just went on Fox and called tokenization the way the world will be, not in 10 years, but maybe in just a couple.
Do you expect this is where financial services is going? Are the major banks and the brokers out there today moving increasingly toward tokenization?
Oh, absolutely. And it's the way the world will be, here in the, maybe not even in 10 years, maybe even a lot less time, maybe a couple of years from now. So I think that all of this modernization of the markets, I think, is good. And the trouble that we've seen here over the past few years is that the SEC, unlike historically, it never was necessarily at the vanguard of pushing new innovations. It was always a little bit behind the market, of course. But here recently, it's been almost standing athwart the marketplace, and as it's as all these new innovations were coming about. So that's no more. We're actually embracing it, and I believe that we need to be embracing it to keep the United States at the forefront.
There you have it right there, ladies and gentlemen. That isn't Gary Gensler. That is quite possibly the greatest SEC chair, Paul Atkins, and his second time as the SEC chair, embracing this. And it may not be in 10 years. It may just be in a couple. In 1 week, says Unknown DLT, we have seen Vanguard and BlackRock admit their past lies. Remember that both were anti-crypto and now admit they were wrong. I always say they will never tell you the truth. If you want to seize the opportunity of a lifetime, you have to learn to read between the lines, because the day they announce it and say they were wrong about XRP, the opportunity of lifetime will disappear. Shout out to Unknown DLT. Give them a follow. Here is a look at a crypto total market cap chart from Eggrag Crypto. Shout out to you, my friend. The parabolic move hasn't even started, he says. This is just looking at total market cap, going from the 3+ trillion we're at now to a possible 7, 12, or $17 trillion market cap. And if that happens, you have to ask yourself, how much of that could XRP capture? We don't know the answer. That's what's so exciting about all of this, at least for me. We get to 371, you hit the red channel, the red line here, or we get enough of a push, you know, a 312% push could take us to $9, the green line. Or if you get over 1,000%, 1,138%, take you to $27. Now, in 2018, it was tens of thousands of percent that went up. We saw 450% last November. So these large moves are not unheard of. The problem is we just don't know what it'll be next time around when it happens, right? Or if it happens. But I do believe we have something coming. We just don't know what it'll be. Head on a swivel. Make sure you have a plan set up for an exit plan, even if it's DeFi, even if it's somewhere that you know is now trusted beyond belief and your assets are completely safe. Because isn't that the most important thing when it comes to those opportunities? Making sure that you don't lose your hard-earned principal assets that you've collected while you're trying to take advantage and grow them in the process. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. I'll catch all of you on the next one.